or this afternoon, not this morning, this afternoon. Regan has been here since 7th grade, and we've seen lots of growth in her confidence and academic skill, as well as her keen fashion sense. She's going to share with you how that's developed and what she accomplished and learned over the course of this year about running your own fashion business and fashion market in general. Here's Regan.
Hello. Okay, fashion design has always been an interest of mine. I started by designing doll clothes back in the 1st grade, drawing out sketches, creating a pattern, and then sewing the pieces together. This transformed into creating my own clothing. At first, the execution was pretty terrible, but at least I tried. Throughout my VNS career, I explored many different fashion styles and found myself doing research projects on related subjects, such as the chemistry of fabric and Japanese street fashion, as that particular style really interested me. Fashion is my way of expressing myself, and I want to encourage others to use it in the same way. I always wish that people would wear more outrageous clothing and dress for themselves versus for trends or for someone else. Fashion really helped me step out of my shell as a person, since I've always been pretty shy and self-conscious, but dressing in weird or questionable clothes makes me feel radiant. It makes me feel more confident, and I find that when I'm dressed up more, I actually get more work done and am more focused. Overall, fashion is incredibly important to me, and that's what led me to do my senior project on fashion design. One original intention for this project was to create my own brand, Rubbish Ruby, and I'll share more about that part of this project in a little while. Other intentions were to begin to sell my own clothing line, continue to advance my sewing skills, and design a collection of clothing. However, this proved to be more time-consuming, expensive, and difficult endeavor. The project began last summer with a month-long pre-college program for fashion design and art in Los Angeles, California, at my dream college, Otis College of Art and Design. I was incredibly nervous to go through with this since I had never attended this type of college class before, especially so far away from home. Despite my original fears, this ended up being one of the best experiences I could have signed up for. I made so many new friends and learned a lot more about art and design. I took 2 courses, beginner drawing and fashion design. For our art class, we were assigned to use an object without meaning and create a piece that has meaning. I used a Stephen King book and created a piece imitating the inside of a well. My intention was to make the person feel trapped and uneasy. I used dark colors and charcoal to help put the message across. The perspective makes it seem like you're trapped at the bottom of the well. This was something I've never done before. It was really difficult for me to think of this concept in the first place, so I'm proud of how this turned out. In the fashion course, in the few weeks we had, we were supposed to create 4 different dress designs, and then narrow those down to 2 to actually sew. We only had a few classes to sew these dresses, so some people only wound up creating 1 dress. I was really proud of myself for actually sewing both of my dresses in time. It was definitely a big success for me personally. You'll get a chance to see these pieces up close later in my presentation. One of the reasons that I was able to finish 2 dresses is that I spent my junior and part of my sophomore year advancing my sewing skills and technique. Sewing has always been a hobby of mine, but I was self-taught, which meant my early pieces were less than mediocre. They were poorly constructed, and I found myself giving up any time it got rough or difficult. I have learned, though, that giving up is the worst thing to do. Instead, I began taking sewing classes at Fox Valley Technical College. Working on projects during the last 2 school years, I learned a significant amount of information about sewing. I tried to consistently work on projects that pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me learn new skills. I couldn't recommend this more. Take a class in something you're passionate about. It's incredibly uplifting to work with people who are just as passionate about you or as the same things, even if they are 50 years older than you. Plus, you learn so much from them as well, and as your teacher. My teacher over the last few years has been Connie Polly. She's been sewing since she was a kid, so she knows a lot about the art. One of the big things she taught me was about seam allowances. The seam allowance is the edge of the fabric that sticks out inside the garment when you sew 2 pieces together. I used to just sew as close to the edge as possible, often creating holes in the garment either because I just missed the edge entirely or because the fabric raveled away from the sewing. Connie taught me the professional standard of the 5/8 seam allowance. I perfected buttonholes in her class, as well as gaining more understanding of how to successfully create a pair of pants. For those of you who don't sew, pants are one of the hardest garments to create and fit to a particular body. That was loud. Knowing that I would continue these sewing classes throughout my senior year, I incorporated that into my senior project proposal. My main research questions revolved around marketing and advertising, running your own business, and brand development, as well as fashion design and sewing. The questions that were most difficult to answer with secondary sources were those about sewing and design. There weren't many articles on how to technically design clothing or on what makes a design good or bad. With so many different abstract aspects to a design, a professional critique is useful to decipher if your design is good or not. Sewing was another difficult piece because quality of clothing is becoming less of a stress nowadays, with stores like AliExpress, H&M, Forever 21, and Wish becoming more mainstream. Fast fashion is booming, and people care less about quality than ever before. These types of stores sell mass quantities of cheaply made clothing manufactured by underpaid workers in foreign sweatshops, where environmental regulations are ignored. We get trendy, inexpensive clothing, but at a great long-term global cost. Therefore, my research phase was primarily spent online and conducting live interviews. This way, I was able to get all my questions answered. I actually found an abundance of live sources for this project. At first, I thought it would be difficult to get in contact with professionals in the field, and that I wouldn't find anywhere to job shadow either. I learned that persistence is key, and not to be afraid to contact bigger names out there. You might be surprised. I found my sources through social media like Instagram and Depop. The people I interviewed include We Are Carbs, a new independent designer based in the UK. Their clothing is very colorful and impractical. Stella Rose, an independent designer based in New York. She's been around for a while selling accessories and custom orders. Malicious Designs, a small Etsy-based designer who hand sews everything herself. And Madame Chino, a small designer who focuses on sustainable fashion and sells other local small artists at her storefront based in Milwaukee. It was good to get so many different views and opinions on fashion design in the industry, as well as learning about different effective, successful ways to go about fashion design. Along with interviewing Vanessa Andrew, the owner of Madame Chino, I also did a job shadow at her store in Milwaukee. This was something incredibly interesting to me. While during the last few years I have had co-op positions at Life's Stitch Fabric Shop and Du Bois Formal Wear and worked at Sephora, I never got to experience running my own small store. At Madame Chino's, I did multiple tasks throughout the day to help with running the store, such as taking photos of products, sewing, and even weaving, which I'd never done before. Her focus and her brand is on sustainable clothing and fabrics. All her designs are recycled t-shirts, use recycled t-shirts from thrift stores. Overall, this experience was really cool, and owning my own store is something I wouldn't mind doing one day. Like in Malicious Design's case, certain marketing methods will be most helpful to the small business owner. In addition to website and social media, being on platforms such as Etsy or Shopify can increase sales by reaching a different audience and providing a way to sell online. Since online customers are heavily influenced by reviews, offering a discount in return for a review encourages customers to give feedback and shop again. Referral codes are another useful way to bring in new customers and keep the old ones coming back. People want to share your product with friends. Give them a way to do that. Sending free product to online bloggers shares the business with a wider audience and hopefully provides a good review. Online reviews by fashion influencers are very important for aspiring designers. Entrepreneurs may also choose to meet their customers where they're at. This means finding events or venues to connect in person with customers. For example, selling merchandise at festivals, markets, or concerts might reach the right audience. These events, as well as everyday life, provide the designer with the opportunity to model their own designs. The main thing I learned in this project was how difficult and expensive being a designer actually is. It takes a lot of time, effort, and planning. You need to put thought into so many different details. You're selling a lifestyle, an experience, not just clothes. Even the packaging and tags are important parts of selling your designs. There are ways to get people to come back for more. Whether you're selling online or in-store, this is all still applicable. But store experience is incredibly important. The bags you sell things in, the way you treat your customers, and atmosphere all play an important role in selling your product and experience your brand provides. Even if you're a small designer, these all matter. Just having amazing designs and sewing skills doesn't cut it anymore. There's a wide variety of fashion marketing methods, but certain methods will work better for certain brands better than others. In general, designers must sell more than clothing, they must sell an experience. Whether large fashion house or small entrepreneur, the visual and emotional experience establishes a brand's market niche as well as building a relationship with the customer. The experience starts with the brand style guide or lookbook, which is an electronic or printed layout of outfits incorporating pieces from new or past collections, showcasing how to wear each item. Today's market almost requires this tool. However, everyone can do it. It can be created and distributed fully, digitally, printed, or through a magazine. Style guides are typically updated each time new items release. The entire style guide should be prominent on the brand's website, and individual photos should be posted on social media. For instance, almost all designers will regularly post photos to Instagram of their pieces styled. This, of course, promotes new work, but it is also a way to engage customers. Making a thoughtful statement or asking a question will increase post activity as viewers respond to it by commenting, liking, or sharing. Getting customers to post images wearing their pieces is another useful technique. Offering a prize for the best image entices customers to do so. While it may seem like a gimmick, it helps build a relationship with customers. Take, for example, Moschino's fashion show from Fall/Winter 2019. Okay, it's pretty obvious that the feeling you should get from Moschino is luxury. During this project, I created my own brand called Rubbish Ruby. I wrote a business plan that summarizes and explains all aspects of my business, including the types of products I sell, where I sell, how I sell them, and to whom. With this brand, I also created a lifestyle. Since I sell online right now, this is mainly created through images posted on Instagram and the packaging I use to send to my customers. The overall lifestyle Rubbish Ruby tries to convey is very cutesy, which can be easily spotted within just the designs. They're very playful and colorful with very feminine silhouettes. Lifestyle starts with good design, but how does one create good design though? Remember I mentioned that the answer to this question was not in the books. Through my college courses though, I learned that the easiest way to design is to use inspiration. I look at many different designs of clothing that I really appreciate or like and create new ones based off of those. For example, taking this top and creating a new one based on those. Obviously I wouldn't sell this because it's pretty obviously copied, but yeah, you get the idea. Obviously you don't want to copy another designer's work, so adding your own flair to truly make it your own piece is a necessity. You always want to make sure your pieces have something different and new to bring to the table. This is another reason to spend a lot of time looking at the work of other designers. A good designer needs to stay current and know what else is out there. You need to know if your design is actually a good and new idea. Good design does not depend on the type of clothing that you sell. Instead of designing and manufacturing seasonal collections like we tend to see in fashion magazines, another way to start selling your designs as a small independent designer is to start with basic pieces. This is an easy way to begin. Just make sure that the quality is high. Quality is generally created through sewing technique and stitch strength. Pieces need to last a long time, especially if you want to charge more. A consumer can recognize high quality by looking for sewing technique if there are loose threads or looking at fabric quality. Another general thing is price. The more expensive something is, the more high quality it generally is, and the longer it will last. Obviously, you can't just judge by price, but it is a clear marker on what kind of quality the garment is. Speaking of high quality, this is another aspect of the Rubbish Ruby brand and lifestyle. Marketing my brand's lifestyle is easiest on Instagram. This platform allows me to post images with relating captions and interact with customers or possible customers. Instagram is one of the best social medias for selling clothes or starting a small business, as it lets you interact with potential customers that may not have heard about your business any other way. Reposting photos of your customers and posting photo shoot images is really helpful. It's also useful for all types of sellers, whether your income is small or large, or if you are well-known or unknown. Any marketing also requires high-quality photos of the products. If the photos on your website or social media don't look good, customers will not buy. Throughout the year, Cam and I did multiple photo shoots for my Instagram in an attempt to sell some of my fur coats. These photo shoots were really helpful for selling on Etsy and Instagram, as it showed the experience wearing the coat will give you and the quality of the coats as well. I would really recommend photo shoots to anyone trying to sell clothing, keeping in mind the atmosphere the photos are taken in and the overall mood of and posing of the model. I sent a few coats out to different influencers and made sure to send them in a pink bag with a personal handwritten note. Making the unboxing experience as personal as possible is important, as well as keeping the box and packaging as related to your brand as possible. This may seem unimportant, but the unboxing experience is as important as the pieces themselves. Now I'll take a break to look at my artwork and some sewing of mine. Right at the front wall here, we have some artwork that I created for my college application portfolio. At the back wall, we have some more of my artwork that I created for my college application, or throughout the year. And by the side area, we'll have the rest of my portfolio artwork and some sewn garments. You'll have about 15 minutes, and then I'll call you guys back up for lunch.
I was giving you know, you can come anytime you want that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Just don't park behind the car. Go to the airport.
Park right behind.
What?
Park right behind.
you stay longer. That way you don't have to fly home and fly back, and you stay here.
Stay here.
Yeah.
You got something to do there?
Feed my cat. Tom's not there. Right now. Sorry. It's all good. That's here. I got it picked. They don't. I videoed them last time. They don't. I videoed.
You don't know what oh my word. Part of that is what I'm doing. Is what? You don't I favor songs for graduation? Oh wait,
I've actually called them.
Very bad.
neither of those things you said was but not to say what's dude, I'm always Regan yes, you're right.
Wait,
Hair. The answer is hair. That's true. No, it's still
I'm down.
All depends on you say that now.
Okay.
Want to make a bet? You want to make a bet?
I think that he knows that.
Want to make a bet? I bet one of you guys is going to be reserved. I don't. Jenny, somebody said yeah. That is Elliot Washington. I'd rather go down and enjoy it. My bet is that he It's definitely. When you're here
We should probably go before
Hello? Everybody shut up.
Hey!
Thanks, John. Ew, that was really loud. Hello, I'm back. I'm just gonna add, because my mom told me to tell everybody this because she says I sell myself too short, is that the dress in the back with the hearts on it, I actually designed that fabric myself. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Overall, this project was really interesting, and I feel like I learned a lot about the fashion industry. I also tackled long-time goals like learning to make pants and getting everything done on time. Without this project, I feel like I would be going into my career path with a blind eye. Next year, I plan on attending Otis College of Art and Design in Los Angeles, and I plan to major in fashion design. I hope to get into fashion design for my future job and want to create my own successful fashion label under the name of Rubbish Ruby. Thank you. Okay, any questions? Yes, Sim.
Do you do custom orders?
I can try. Oh, sorry, the question was, can you make custom orders? And I said I can try. Okay, yes. Yes, you.
Have you ever made like your own wardrobe, like shirt and pants and stuff like that? Like the whole outfit?
Like a whole outfit? I mean, yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah, the question was, have you ever made your whole like outfit? Yes.
How did you custom make the fabric?
There's a website called Spoonflower, and you just have to upload a design, and you can like order your fabric in like a wallpaper or anything like that. Did I say the question? The question was, where can you create your own fabric? Lulu.
Do you plan to wear the stuff you made to school, or do you do that already?
The question was, do you plan to wear your stuff to school, or do you do that already? And yeah, I kind of do that already. I've been planning to do that more because I actually have like more good clothing items that I've made that I can actually wear without worrying about ripping, so yeah. Jessie.
What's the hardest part of making pants?
The question was, what was the hardest part about making pants? Generally just like, if you're making like actually fitted pants, it's just getting the fit right. Yeah. John? John asks, when is the Little DiGiorno and Cutie Paint collab coming? I don't know, man. Hopefully sometime soon. Yes.
What is the outfit that you're the most proud of making, or garment that you're most proud of making?
The question was, what is the garment that I'm most proud of making, or like the outfit I'm most proud of making? Probably the jacket in my collection, like way at the end. I'm really proud of that because I never really made like a formal jacket like that before, and it took a lot of time and effort. Yeah. Sim.
Do you have a specific way to describe your style?
Do I have a specific way to describe my style? I'd say like Y2K, pastel goth, garbage can. Yes.
When creating garments, what is the most fun part of it, and what is the most challenging part for you?
The question was, when I'm creating garments, what is the most challenging part and the most fun part? The most like annoying part for me is cutting out the fabric, just because I wish I could just skip that part and just get right into sewing. And then the most fun part is sewing for me. Mrs. Lutke?
Who sets the standard for what is cool or fashionable, and how am I supposed to tell what
The question was, like, who sets the standard for what is cool and fashionable? I just say, like, do whatever you think is cool and fashionable. I don't really think you should care about what other people think. Yeah. Mr. Brokey?
How do you become an influencer, and why is this a thing?
And what? Why is that a thing? Okay, the question was, how do you become an influencer and why is that a thing? Follow Cutie Faint on Instagram. How does one become an influencer? It takes a lot of time. I mean, I have an Instagram that has like an okay amount of followers, I guess. And it just takes a lot of time posting like every day. It's every day, bro. I had to make the joke, I was there. Yeah, I don't know. And why is it a thing? I don't know. I just think people like to look at other people and, you know, I don't know. I just appreciate looking at other people's styles and being like, wow, I wish that I could be like that. I don't know. Jessie. The question was, what was the hardest part of the project? Ooh. I don't know. Probably like my papers. I don't really like writing papers that much. Molly.
If you could decide right now what would be your perfect job, how would you use this in your perfect job after graduation?
The question was, like, if I could choose my perfect job right now, what would it be? Probably just like having my own label. That would be really cool. Yeah. Keegan?
How do you avoid burnout when designing your pieces?
The question was, how do I avoid burnout when designing my own pieces? It's definitely difficult because you do get into like when writers get into writer's block, like I find that a lot with designing. Just keep looking at different stores, keep going on online shops, and just, that's what I kind of do. And then sometimes I'll just sew other people's designs to kind of get through that and just keep going and sewing. So, yeah. John?
Do you ever think of making a men's line?
The question was, am I ever going to make a men's line? I would like to. I think that'd be really fun, but I haven't thought about it yet. Lulu.
What was your biggest inspiration during this project?
The question was, who's my biggest inspiration during this project? I'd say that one of my bigger inspirations that I reached out to was Lazy Oafed. I really like that brand a lot. Yeah. Will.
So just a lot of the designs seem like were pretty, for the most part, low key a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, since we had a penchant for sometimes wearing stuff that's pretty out there and stuff, do you plan on designing something that's really like Corella DeVille, like completely off the wall, and selling that?
The question was, since I usually wear really crazy things, do I ever plan on making something like super crazy, like Corella DeVille, off the wall kind of thing? I definitely would like to getting into high fashion would be really fun. It's not really what I want to do with my actual life, but I wouldn't mind designing some high fashion pieces. Miss K.
I'm maybe combining a follow-up to Mrs. Lidke and Mr. Frauke's question. How do you, or we, maybe it's how do a designer and or a customer, how do we balance being ourselves and finding our own style with the trends and the influencers and looking like we're also fashionable?
Yeah, so the question was, how do we like remain fashionable but keep our own style kind of thing?
Yeah.
I'd say kind of just looking at influencers now on Instagram and kind of making your own twist on it. So, I don't know, for example, like, I see that, like, early 2000s right now is a really big trend. So, trying to incorporate different, like, maybe patterns from that, like cheetah print is a thing. Same with, like, big boots and stuff like that. So, just kind of taking different pieces from each style and mashing it together for your own thing. It's kind of what I do, at least. Yeah. Mr. DeMay?
So when you had your website going and you were trying to get items moving and sold, there are a lot of jobs, a lot of little jobs in running your own business. So which of those pieces did you kind of really not like, and which of those pieces did you like the most?
So the question was, which pieces did I like the most and which pieces did I dislike the most in running my own business? I'd say I dislike the really small, like, details of everything, because it's like getting tags made and everything is really difficult. So doing that type of work is really hard for me. And then the most enjoyable part is probably like when people actually like bought things and I could see them wearing it. That was really fun for me. Yeah. Jessie. Oh geez. The question was advice for future seniors. Don't take yourself too seriously, I don't know. Oh, Mrs. Lidke.
What's a theme you noticed from seeing all your life sources in action? You know, after you interviewed or job shadowed all of them, what's something you noticed they all had or did?
The question was, what was like a theme that all my life sources like tended to say? Probably just to have fun with it. That's what I noticed a lot. That it's like really competitive, so it's really difficult to get into this career in the first place. So you might as well just like have fun and make sure you are enjoying yourself. Lauren?
How did you make the tags?
Oh, how did I make the tags? I didn't actually, the question was how did I make the tags? I didn't actually end up making tags. I had ordered like, online there are lots of different websites where you can order different pieces that are custom, so you can get like custom patches, custom tags, etc. So I just ordered like a sample of the tags, and then I was gonna go through and make actual tags, but I didn't end up having the time for that. Lydia.
So you said, well, I know that you've been making fashion for like a long time since you were like really young, and what's something that you could like tell your young fashion designer self, like any advice that you could like give?
The question was, what advice would I give to like the younger fashion designer me? Just keep sewing, I guess. It gets really difficult sometimes because you mess up and then like you ruin an entire piece and you're just like, oh no, the world's over, but it's not. You can just keep trying and try again. And yeah. Grandma.
Are you able to follow your career in a city, say Appleton, and you have to fly off to a big far away place?
I'm sorry, Grandma, I'm leaving you. Don't cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
Don't cry, John. No one cry, please. Otherwise I'll cry.
We're all crying.
Everyone just starts crying.
When you're just famous, will you come back and show us what you make in the future?
Well, yeah, of course. Don't cry, Molly. Oh my God. Oh, I thought you were crying. You always cry, so I thought you were crying. What? Oh, the question was if you can do fashion design in like a smaller city. Not necessarily. It's really difficult. You could do it if you really wanted to and tried hard enough, but I prefer to live in Los Angeles. Miss K.
Since Rubbish Ruby supports sustainability or high quality fashion, could you as the designer recommend places that we should and shouldn't shop or support?
I mean, it's really difficult because even I find myself, oh yeah, the question was, where can we find like sustainable fashion? it's really difficult. Even I find myself like caving in and buying something at Forever 21 from time to time, and it happens. It's just kind of like almost every place at the mall is going to be unsustainable. So unless you're going to be going online and specifically like searching out sustainable fashion, like I know Lazy Oaf is sustainable, there's multiple different brands out there that are like, they go through the company, like they go through different places. I'm trying to think of how to word this. They go through different places in the United States or even out of the United States, and they just make sure that they have more of a hand in helping out to make sure that things are fair and like safe for everybody. So you can still do it for like lesser money, but it's just difficult and you have to put a lot of effort into it. But finding sustainable fashion is pretty much as easy as searching up sustainable fashion brands. I don't think it's very realistic for a lot of kids though, because it's really expensive. So that's another issue. I wish there was cheaper sustainable fashion, but there's not. Thrifting is another way to go. Thrifting is very easy, cheap, and yeah. Yeah. Jessie. Oh geez. The question was, how did my fashion inspirations change? I used to just wear like yoga pants and big sweatshirts. I don't know if anyone remembers those days. 7th grade Regan. Oof. And then I was really into Japanese fashion. And now I'm just kind of into my own sort of thing. So I don't really follow necessarily a fashion style anymore, I don't think. So, yeah. Leo.
How did you come up with the name for your brand?
Okay. The question was, how did I come up with the name for my brand? Ruby, long story short, my mom was going to name me Ruby, and I'm really salty about it, because I think that would have been a dope name. But so I'm using it for my fashion brand, and then I thought rubbish, because I kind of wanted to have a theme going where every like piece that I made had like a weird word, or like a not so great meaning word. Like for example, the fuzzy coats that I have are called hirsute coats, which actually hirsute is a disease where you grow a lot of hair. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to go with the theme here. Bless you, Jessie. Oh, yes.
So is LA like as kind of like popular, or like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like as I put it, like celebrities everywhere, I guess.
Oh, the question was like, is LA as like cool as it sounds? I guess. Yeah. Are there like celebrities everywhere? No, not really. You don't really see celebrities everywhere. It's not like Instagram models everywhere. You'll just see like people taking pictures of themselves all the time. So it's pretty like, it's chill. I don't know. It's like, it's not Appleton. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's chill. I like LA a lot. Wilson.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you kind of answered it just now, but I was going to ask, like, if you could choose, would you like to live in LA to do your professional work, or are there like other places that you would like to do what you want to do?
The question was, would I like to live in LA for my like professional work, or are there other places that I'd like to live? I wouldn't mind moving back and forth from LA and New York for work. Otherwise, eventually, I'd like to go to like a slightly less crazy city and chill out, you know. But Alabama, not Alabama. Okay. Jessie. Yes. What was your other question? You forgot. Lulu.
What is one thing that you're really excited to, like, well, just something you're excited for in general, like, versus something like going to LA?
The question was, what's something I'm excited about, like moving to LA, that sort of thing. I'm excited to have things actually happen. Like, I feel like Appleton is really slow and there's not much going on all the time. So I like that there's actually things to do, and I'm just excited to go to college too, I guess. Grandma?
Will Rubbish Ruby be a name that can follow you like through the years and no matter how high up you go?
The question was, is Rubbish Ruby a name that's going to follow me to like no matter how high up I go? So far I'd like that to be the case, so yes. Jessie.
Who's your target audience?
Oh boy. The question was, who's my target audience? Making me think here. Probably like teen to early adults, people who like to wear weird clothes, that sort of thing. Female or male, I don't care. Wear my clothes. Yes.
Where would you want to open up a store?
The question was, where would I want to open up a store? Probably like Melrose or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Miss K.
I was wondering if you could share a little bit about the difference between haute couture or high fashion and wearable fashion.
Mhm.
You showed a clip of
Yeah.
a high fashion show, and so why does that still exist if nobody ever wears it? Or what's the point?
The question was like, what's the point of haute couture, if I can even say it correctly. I mean, I think it's mainly for people to take like inspiration off of the high end. So generally at fashion shows, they'll have like Forever 21 designers will be there so they can be on top of it and create something that's similar to it. So a more wearable version of it, so that's generally the difference. And then obviously celebrities will wear high end stuff all the time, so that sort of thing. Lulu.
When you become famous and you're in LA and you like the store and everything, my boss would be like, yo, I went to school with that person. I knew them. They were a senior.
They were well,
I helped them carry their stuff from their car upstairs. You know?
got the ends. Is that a question?
I don't even know.
It's a statement, it's okay. Yes? Yes, last question.
Well, like, how did you feel about like writing 10-page essays about fashion?
Oh geez.
Yeah.
The question was, how did I feel about writing a 10-page essay on fashion? It was tiring, but it was fun. It was kind of just like going on a rant about stuff that I like, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah. Jessie. No clap. My business plan. Okay, the question was, tell us about my business plan. Basically, a business plan is how you pitch like what you're trying to sell to big boys. So yeah, you just like write down like who you're selling to, why you're selling it, where you're selling it, that sort of thing. You just have to go into detail about it. You have to include pictures, include information about how it's going to be sewn, how it's going to be sold, if it's made to order, that sort of thing. And I did it, yeah. Thanks, Jessie. Rosa?
How do you feel about the fashion industry is such a collaborative process?
Mm-hmm.
Is that intimidating for you?
The question was, how do I feel about the fashion industry being such a collaborative process, and if that's intimidating to me? I mean, yes, it's intimidating to me. It's really like a lot of people, and it's crazy. But I'm excited to work with other people and to like learn other people's ideas and thoughts on my designs and like how we can work together to make something cool. Yeah. Jessie. It's okay.
When you go to college, what
Mhm.
is one type of art or one class that you're really excited about?
The question was, when I go to college, what is like one class that I'm really excited for? Probably just like basic art classes, which I know is really lame, but I've never had like actual like base art classes, so it's just something that's really cool to me and interesting. Okay, I think it's done.
Now, real